As we all know, the Boys and Girls Club of Binghamton is an organization that is rich in history, having a mission statement which focuses on inspiring and empowering young people to reach their full potential. This means that the Boys and Girls Club of Binghamton must find ways to change with the times. Our group has developed a plan to assist you in performing at your highest level while bringing you and some of your technology up to speed. With the increased usage of technology, we are proposing ways for your organization to develop, inspire, and recruit using electronic devices.
Our proposal for the Boys and Girls Club of Binghamton is a website enhancement and social media integration for the Boys and Girls Club of Binghamton. My name is Victoria.
Hi, my name is Laura.
Hi, my name is Aziz.
And I'm Mike.
Some of the ideas that we have for the social media integration is updating our social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and an overall facelift for the website where it is outdated and many people who use it may not be able to use it as thoroughly as possible, which is why we recommend a multitude of Twitter, Facebook, and overall enhancements such as PDF uploads as well as various other enhancements for the website. The mission statement of the Boys and Girls Clubs, as you know, is to inspire and enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. Boys and Girls Club of Binghamton is actually one of the oldest, as you guys know, where it is the first where they took the Boys and the Girls Club and put them together, which means you can utilize that to show the great history that you have, which means that you can put that on t-shirts, social media, all over where you can celebrate your anniversary every single year to showcase the jointment of two organizations which started the whole chain of Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
So what we've done is we've conducted an analysis of the organization, and we would like to. You may be aware of some of these some of the things that we're going to talk about and discuss, but we just want to make sure that we cover everything. Most importantly, the organization's strengths, but we also want to look at some of the weaknesses that the organization may have. There are some opportunities to improve. And like anything else, when you're discussing electronics and electronic devices, there's threats. There's also threats to any sort of not-for-profit these days with such a competitive market and a lot of NPOs out there these days. So let's go to the strengths. Obviously, you guys are very well aware that your organization is fiscally sound, and you should be commended for that. We looked at your 990 forms, and your organization, continues to be in the black every year. So kudos to you guys, and we'll talk a little bit more about the finances a little bit later in the presentation. You have a very positive message, and by the operation of the Boys and Girls Club on a national level, your biggest objective is to be role models for younger people, which makes you a pillar in the community, and you are an essential part of the city of Binghamton, and there are a lot of children that utilize your organization and families alike. You already have an electronic platform that exists, and our review of that electronic platform shows that it may need some updating, but it is already there, so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, we're just trying to enhance what's already there. Some of the weaknesses that we pointed out, like I just touched on, the website is a little bit lacking. There's information on there that may be a little bit outdated and could be improved or enhanced significantly, quite honestly. There's some technical improvements that can be made. We'll cover some of those a little bit later on, such as some of your forms and things like that. And the use of social media. A quick check of social media shows that Twitter hasn't been used in many years, and again we'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. And some of the existing information is outdated that's on there. So there are some opportunities. Like I said, the creation of those PDF forms. There's a lot of technological platforms out there now that are absolutely free. And I think that your organization should take a serious look at taken advantage of some of those, such as PayPal, Amazon Smile, or some of the other websites that are good, sound platforms for you to utilize to try to raise some funding. The increased social media presence. We talked about that already. That there is a significant opportunity there to increase your presence on social media and utilize it. Let's be honest. Every kid that probably comes through your door has some sort of electronic device in his hand, and the utilization of social media on your part is going to provide opportunities in advertising and marketing for your organization, and it can only benefit you by utilizing it. And we'll also there's opportunities to create some in-house experts through some training and updating the websites. The cost will be very, very minimal to actually have people in-house that can do all of these enhancements that we're talking about. The threats, obviously ransomware is a concern, and hackers are a concern for anybody when they're utilizing websites, and we're talking about putting account information and anything else on a computer. For those of you that aren't familiar with ransomware, basically what it is an organization or a group of hackers will actually take over your entire system and lock it so you cannot use it, and then they will require you to pay a fee for them to unlock your data. It's a very, very scary thing. It's a helpless feeling for an organization to have that happen to them. And honestly, it's happened to a number of hospitals, police departments, and a lot of other organizations throughout the world. So it is a very serious threat. But a quick look on PCMagazine.com. You can buy ransomware protection that'll protect up to 5 computers for like $45. So it's it's a very scary thing, but the cost to protect yourselves from something like that is insignificant when we're talking about the grand scheme of things here. The other threat is the loss of clients to other not-for-profits. Let's face it, there are a number of not-for-profits in our area, and it's a very competitive market. So we want to help you enhance your organization so it's operating its highest capacity, and you're recruiting instead of losing members. The loss of staff and volunteers is always an issue, and upgrading some of the forms that we'll talk about later may assist you with some of that by making them easier to operate and function on the website. And there's also continued electronic maintenance is always needed. Like I said, the ransomware might be $45 for 5 computers, but that's a yearly fee, so that can add up as well.
I just wanted to take a minute to see what we're dealing with as far as our website. This is the Boys and Girls Club website of Binghamton. You can see it's pretty basic. Has a white background. Nothing really jumps out at you. It's got pretty traditional borders. Something that I know that can be improved. With that being said, we're going to take a look at the Boys and Girls Club of Western Broome, their website. And you can see, just as that fades in, the color is really vibrant. It really grasps the audience. It has an introduction right there with a big YouTube video promoting some of the services of the Boys and Girls Club. On the right hand side, it's got a donate today button, which is very helpful as far as fundraising and overall functionality of the website and the organization, to just be able to have that to exist right there. There's also just a more clean, updated look. We went and checked out the old website to look at the volunteer application, because there are some spots on the website that allow you to be somewhat interactive. So this was a volunteer application that we looked at, and what it ended up being, it was about 7 pages long. And within those pages, you could tell that it was Xeroxed, and the person would print out the form, fill it out, and then would need to drop it off, physically drop it off at the location in Binghamton. When we went ahead and looked at the Western Broom application, it was actually a fillable form right on the website. It was only 1 page long, so they'd go ahead and just fill that out and submit it directly within the website's portal, and that would go to a staff member. And that was it. It was pretty easy, something that the user didn't have to think too much about. It was pretty straightforward, so they didn't get hung up on having to fill anything out or having to drop anything off, because that's what we want to do. We want to make this really easy and user-friendly to keep our audience and our members interested. And we want their help. We want them to volunteer. We want them to be involved. We also talked about updating our social media sites. Let's face it, as we mentioned before, this is at our fingertips now. Facebook has about 485 likes for the Binghamton Boys and Girls Club. It was last updated June 2018, so that's a great thing that that's been updated. However, the Boys and Girls Club of Western Broome has over 1,000 likes, and they were updated in May 2018. So we're a little bit ahead of the game with that one. But what an opportunity, since we already have a Facebook page established, and would be if we would post this on our homepage of our website to really draw people to the Facebook page so they can be up to date, as long as we're making sure that this is all being timely and there isn't any stale information. We also do have the Twitter page. There's 96 followers on the Binghamton Boys and Girls Club Twitter page, but this was updated in June 2012. So we are not utilizing what we already have available to our users. And the Broome County Boys and Girls Club of Western Broome was pretty up to date. Again, it looks like June 2018 was when they went ahead and updated, and they actually have less followers than the Binghamton. So I just wanted to reiterate the opportunity we have here to use the social media sites that we already have created, and it's something that we can, just as long as we are diligent on, a pretty easy fix.
Donations are obviously a very important part of any organization, especially a nonprofit, where Binghamton has a Great Futures Campaign donation site, which personally I'm unfamiliar with. I don't know if any of you are, but clicking it brings you to a very outdated looking site where Western Broome has a great GoFundMe page, Amazon Smile account, and a multitude of other things where members, volunteers, or anyone in the community can donate as well. Obviously, donating is, again, a big part of a nonprofit, so having simple, easy ways to donate makes more people want to donate, which means using those easy websites can also mean maybe making membership pricing and also paying for it much easier, utilizing, as we said, PDFs and everything else as online. Paying the membership online can also be a feature as well, using various different websites instead of someone having to bring a check to Binghamton's Boys and Girls Club, where they can bring it online, or maybe even use Facebook, where there's tons of different ways to pay for accounts or even purchase stuff through Amazon Smile. Maybe there can be a way to set up a payment system where it's much easier for the community to pay online rather than having to come to them, where some members maybe not be able to come every single time, right on time. And that goes with donations. Maybe someone can't bring someone personally to the Boys and Girls Club, but maybe they want to purchase something on Amazon Smile instead, where it's delivered right to your door. It's a great convenience of utilizing Amazon and other social media sites such as Facebook, where you can even donate through Facebook. So there's lots of other multitude of donation ways and even payments for the organization that they can get involved in. And also, just make sure that the company is financially sound.
Okay, so we see the need to update. We see the necessary changes that are necessary and will improve the organization's functions. So let's take a look at the organization's finances and see if this kind of can marry up, if the organization can afford to make these improvements. So looking at the financials for the Boys and Girls Club, what's the overall financial health of the organization? That's the first question we would ask ourselves. What is the organization worth? And the last time we looked at the 990 form, the organization was worth over $1 million, and that's counting not just the cash on hand, but that's also counting the buildings and the other assets that the organization owns. Is the organization carrying a negative balance? You have to look at income versus expenses. Is the organization taking out loans to kind of cover expenses? And the answer is no to that as well. The organization actually has a positive balance as of the last 990 form going into the next fiscal year of 2017. The next question is, can the organization financially afford the changes? And if they can afford the changes, what's the amount of investment that the organization may have spent in the past? You guys have spent over $13,000 in the past in investment. And we'll get into that in just a second here. The last thing is the organization's history. And that $13,000 shows a history, a positive history for the organization that you are looking to improve, that you are willing to invest. So we are looking to pretty much take that motivation that the organization has existing already and move that motivation into the direction of the needed website and the needed changes for this organization. The largest expense, as I mentioned earlier, for the organization in the year 2016 going into 2017 was investment fees. They totaled over $13,000. So the organization cares about its future and it's going to invest in its future. And the website is an integral part of its future. Using social media is an integral part of its future, especially in a world where these digital items that we're utilizing, websites, social media, these things are utilized all the time. The organization's desire to improve is a good sign for this website. It's a good sign for this proposal that it's going to be a possibility. The estimated investment from what we looked at for a newly optimized and intuitive website is about $20,000, which is nearly double the amount of the organization's $13,000 that they invested last year. However, that $20,000, when you compare it to the organization's positive income, let's take a look. The organization reported over $60,000 of income, and the organization also reported $42,000 gain from inventory sales and dividend gains from securities. So we're talking over $100,000 that are carrying over. So out of that $100,000, we are asking the organization to be willing to invest this $20,000 that's going to be necessary and needed to update your website, to kind of encourage the use of social media. And that $20,000, that return on investment, we are pretty sure that you're going to see that return on investment in increased membership dues. You're going to see that return on investment and increased activity because of the social media, and people are contacting each other and publicizing the different events that you may have. You're going to see that return on investment, really quickly, and not only really quickly, but it's also going to carry over and over into the coming years. And this is something that we think your organization in particular can benefit from because it is a public service organization. So the answer to the financials, can the organization afford the changes that we are proposing? And the answer that we have found by studying your 990 form is absolutely. You absolutely can afford these adjustments. You can afford these changes, and we are proposing that you make that change.
All right, so with that all being said, we'd just like to thank you for your attention, and we hope that you learned a lot from our proposal to you, and we really look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.